All of us football fans remember the great individual performances we have witnessed in our time. These moments remain engraved in our memories forever. Whether it's on the international stage or the European stage, we are going to reminisce when some of the world's finest ever footballers showcase their individual brilliance to the entire world. Now, let us relive and let's appreciate some of football's most memorable and most dominant ever performances. So, it's your boy the Sport Effective, and boy, do I have a tale to tell you. So for number 5 on this list, we're going to start with a classic and give homage to one of the realest, Ronaldo, the real Ronaldo, or R9 as they call him. Many of us regard R9 as the greatest striker in football history, and there's a reason they call him phenomenal. So let's take it back to the UEFA Cup final of 1998 between Inter Milan and Lazio. I know the Italian final was somewhat the norm back then, as Serie A was without a doubt the most supreme league in Europe, and Lazio, being a rising powerhouse, boasted such fine names with players as Roberto Mancini, Pavel Nedved and Alessandro Nesta. Ronaldo started this game as a striker, but you'd think he was playing central midfielder or left winger at times, because Inter had allowed him to have a free role, which meant he was everywhere on the pitch, and that also meant license to terrorize the Lazio players everywhere on the pitch. This was also a Lazio squad that had beaten Inter twice during the season this year, so that meant they were pretty damn good. But that didn't stop Ronaldo producing intricate moments of skill. Doing the Elastico to electrify the crowd, the Lazio players just could not keep up with him. There was a constant terrorizing and a constant hunting of Alessandro Nesta, who was one of football's finest ever defenders, and there was a sheer pace and athleticism in which nobody could keep up against Ronaldo. Then of course came one of the most skillful goals you will ever see, performing a beautiful, simple yet effective shimmy around the Lazio goalkeeper, and to do this at 21 years of age. On that stage as well was simply a glimpse of how great R9 was. It will go down as one of football's most memorable ever performances, with Nesta giving an honest review on his performance against R9, admitting that we watched the game so many times and I don't know what I did wrong. We lost 3-0, but it was not my fault. Ronaldo was just unstoppable, and what way to give such respect. And ladies and gentlemen, that is number 5 on the list. And number 4 on this list, we're going to talk about Ronaldo. And no, not that Ronaldo, I mean this time Cristiano Ronaldo. In preparation for the 2014 World Cup in Brazil, you'd expect Portugal to have comfortably qualified, right? Well, that wasn't the case, and they left it to a knockout tie, surprisingly, against Sweden in 2013, in which the winner would secure a ticket to the World Cup group stages in Brazil. I remember this game and this day like it was yesterday. You know what? I'll put out there and say this. I would have classified this game as a career-defining performance as one could possibly have, because this was a game of a truly important magnitude. This was marketed as a huge game between two true superstars and icons of their countries in Cristiano Ronaldo and Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Both players did not disappoint one bit, but it was Cristiano Ronaldo who took the center stage, as he so often always does. Ronaldo was relentless as he had to be, constantly keeping the Swedish defense on their toes and desperate to drag Portugal to victory at all costs. In the second half, he produced one of the most finest performances I've ever witnessed, with the first 2 goals being exquisite and composed finishes on his left weaker foot, and then a third goal taken around the goalkeeper and completing his hat-trick, the dagger which signed and secured Portugal's place in a World Cup after a breathtaking end-to-end game. I remember the Portuguese squad all jumping and celebrating Ronaldo, because not only did he create history in this game by becoming Portugal's all-time top scorer, he came in clutch in a moment his country desperately needed to come in clutch. Ronaldo always managed to step up when the light shone brightest on him, and of course it sealed an incredible individual year for him, also helping him achieve his most desired individual award, being a Ballon d'Or. This is why it's one of the most finest performances in football history, because Ronaldo personified what great leaders do. They rise and inspire when it's most desperately needed, and it will go down as one of football's most iconic ever performances. When we speak about some of the most nostalgic games of all times, many football junkies are always going to hold the 2005 Champions League final between AC Milan and Liverpool in one of the highest regards, because it was literally the perfect happy ending from Liverpool. But nobody represented Liverpool better than their dear captain and local lad, Steven Gerrard. The truth is, calling AC Milan better than Liverpool was a severe understatement. they were so much better. They had world-class players everywhere on the pitch. It was crazy enough they had Kaká and Andrea Pirlo, but if that wasn't enough, they had Paolo Maldini and they had current Ballon d'Or holder Andriy Shevchenko and so many more players that I couldn't even tell you because we're going to be here all night long. But that's just how good AC Milan was. And this is why they took a deserving 3-0 lead against Liverpool at half-time. And I don't think most people expected Milan to roll over Liverpool in that manner, especially when it was the biggest game of the season, the Champions League final. But Steven Gerrard, for the criticism he received for never winning a Premier League title, had a sheer will to win that you just couldn't buy or teach. After giving an inspirational halftime team talk in which Djibril Cissé said that Gerrard spoke to the team at halftime and said to the team, "If you love me and respect me as a captain, you would not allow this embarrassment to continue." Gerrard led by example with one of the most inspiring performances you will ever witness, scoring a belt of a header and winning the important penalty which gave Liverpool a miraculous equaliser and completing the comeback. Through 120 minutes, suffering with cramps, Gerrard played every single position, covering for his players and sprinting every inch of the pitch, defending every blade of the grass and urging his team to create something out of nothing. He led as a captain and AC Milan were shell-shocked. Of course, Liverpool did the near impossible that night and won the Champions League on penalty shootouts. But there's not a single doubt that Steven Gerrard was the figure of inspiration, and that's why this performance goes down as not only one of the most inspirational performances in football history, but also one of the finest performances you will ever witness. Now we're going to recap on the World Cup final of 2022. The World Cup is the biggest stage in the whole of any sport. It truly is. It comes every 4 years and it's a chance to establish yourself and your country in history forever. The 22 World Cup between France and Argentina has been dubbed by some as the greatest football match in recent history, and I can't lie, that is true. It was hyped as a game between two superstars and two teammates in Kylian Mbappe and Lionel Messi. It was a true blockbuster and a serious classic. It even had a classic Hollywood storyline as France were aiming to make history by being only the third nation to defend their World Cup since Brazil in 1962. And there was so much at stake for Argentina because this was arguably Lionel Messi's last chance to seal the World Cup trophy in the twilight of his career, especially after already taking a silver medal back in 2014. The only trophy he was missing in his illustrious and fruitful career was a World Cup trophy. So let's get into the game and let's run you back through the story. So in this classic, Argentina took a 2-0 lead in this final, with Lionel Messi scoring, and then a penalty came in the 80th minute in which Kylian Mbappe buried. Now, it may have been just a penalty, but we can't forget how high the stakes were this game, and knowing it was a lifeline to get your team back into the game, it was crucial. And so much would have gone through the mind of Kylian Mbappe, especially remembering when he missed a penalty in Euro 2020, which sent France home against Switzerland. Then just a minute later, one of the most jaw-dropping equalizers you will ever see occurred thanks again to Kylian Mbappe, delivering in a high-pressure moment, scoring a volley that was worthy of a standing ovation. I mean it. Talk about delivering when your country needed you, that was him. And then in extra time, Kylian Mbappe scored another penalty to try and equalize for France, in which he buried against the intimidating and fantastic Emiliano Martinez. In extra time, just before the shootout as well, Kylian Mbappe's confidence was clearly sky high, and I think he believed he could do anything. I mean, I was convinced he could do anything he wanted. He could have walked on the moon that day, and I would have believed it. But he almost produced another moment of magic in which would have been a hell of a way to end the game. Kylian Mbappe was that man. Needless to say, we know how the story ended, with the football gods finally rewarding Lionel Messi and Argentina. But Kylian Mbappe remained a winner in history. He delivered 3 of the most high-pressure goals in the biggest game of anybody's career. Football will never forget that. And if France had won the World Cup, wow, just wow, what would the conversation have been? There are so many performances I have not even mentioned, but I know I could not complete this list without honoring the greatest player of this era, Lionel Messi. Lionel Messi has had countless of iconic performances. An average game for him is an astonishing game for somebody else. I can talk about his iconic performances against Real Madrid, but I'm not going to speak about that one. I'm going to relive the biggest European stage to perform on, and that was the Champions League final of 2011. Now, I am a huge Manchester United fan, and we already had so much history with Barcelona. We beat them in the 2008 Champions League semi-finals, and then we lost to them in the 2009 Champions League final. So there was actual real beef there, and I don't mean hamburger beef, I mean real physical beef. This was the tiebreaker to finally settle the score, and in short, it will be an understatement to say that Manchester United were absolutely ragdolled, and I'm not exaggerating one bit. Lionel Messi, from minute 1 to 90, terrorized every single player on the pitch wearing white that day. If you want to see the definition of unstoppable, it was this game. He hunted every single player, particularly Nani. Look what he did to him. This is outright disrespectful. And he made it his personal vendetta to completely school every single player on the pitch. Hell, maybe because the kitman gave us white jerseys that day, Lionel Messi thought we were Real Madrid and he thought it El Clasico, and he took it personal. You could not get the ball from Lionel Messi this game. The combination of skill, speed of play, and technique was a level that football had never witnessed before. Of course, he capped it off by scoring a winner, which was a 25-yard goal, an inevitable goal. But with or without that goal, my Man United were truly schooled. Let's throw it back to the legendary clip of Sir Alex Ferguson clenching his fist in such frustration. I can only imagine what was going through the old man's mind. He probably wanted to grasp Lionel Messi and squish him like the flea he was. Hey, that's why they call him La Pulga. It means the flea in Spanish. But of course, Barcelona had dominated the great Manchester United in every single way possible. And of course, Lionel Messi was at the heart of it. He's regarded as the greatest footballer to ever exist, and I truly believe against Manchester United, he cemented himself as that. And this will go down as one of the most dominant, if not the most dominant individual performance in the history of football. And there we have it. We have relived some of the finest individual displays we've ever witnessed in football. It's games like these that will be talked about for decades and remain etched in our memories forever due to the sheer magnitude of the moment. Truly world-class players turn up on the biggest stages, so here is my list. I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to comment below on a performance that you believed was amazing and worthy of this list. We may make a part 2 soon, but for now, it's your boy The Sport Effective, and we are out.